Yeah, I want more of that. More switches, more stupid, more music. More of that. More exclusive, more new shit. Every time I do it. I want more of that. More switches, more stupid, more music. More of that. More exclusive, more new shit. Every time I do it. Want more of that. More exclusive every time I do it. Want more of that.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Focus Podcast. We're glad you're joining us live on twitch.tv. Also, you can catch us on SoundCloud and YouTube. Probably tomorrow, by the way, Danger works. I want to introduce my co-host, Danger K. Varoz on the beatbox. Joshua Lucera, the pretty boy. Look at him, his hair's all done. And we got the awesome actress in the house, Diane Villagas, who's going to be talking love today.
Welcome to the show, Diane.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me say this real quick. I want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, Dulce Clothing, Rockwell Watches, the new timepiece. Thank you. Hey, you guys got to lace up my boys here with some watches. They need to be wearing them on the show as well. RSP Nutrition, of course, Mac 10, Money is King. Let's get right into it. Let me say this. So if anybody follows me on Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook, you guys all know that I send out motivational quotes every day, and I send out, I'm very spiritual. I will say today, though, that I've asked for repentance all night. I prayed about it, and hey, even Jesus got loose on the disciples when they messed up. So today's my day. We're going in today. UNValentine's Day. We've got lots to talk about, so we're going to jump right in.
It wouldn't be on Valentine's Day without it.
That's right.
Right.
We're going to get it.
So I want to talk a little bit real quick about, and this whole show is going to be dedicated to Valentine's Day, just so you guys know. We're not talking about anything else. You know, the other episodes we've talked about different subjects and different topics. But so Diane.
Yes. Do ask.
You've always had a very interesting perspective on, it's funny. You and I have been friends for a long time, and you've always had a very interesting perspective on relationships, and it's crazy to me because, you have a beautiful family. That's what I love about you. You have such a beautiful family.
Thank you.
You're a well-rounded woman. You have a great career.
How many kids do you have?
I have two.
Two kids, that's right.
I know you wouldn't believe it by looking at it, right? But, you have this very, no bullshit type of approach when it comes to relationships and love. Tell me what you think about that. What do you think about, breaking up to making up?
Oh, where do I start? Yeah, you're right. There is no bullshit. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just one of those people that I don't believe in mind games, bullshit, reading between lines. If you feel something, say it. Don't do any of that cagey shit, or it's like, oh, but how do you feel? Screw that crap. If you feel something, just say it.
Right. Right.
And it kind of goes both ways. But on the flip side, before you personally, this is again, should we disclaim this that I'm not a doctor? So this is purely, my personal views on life and stuff.
I'll just have a little flashing
Thank
ticker
you.
on the bottom
Thank
of the
you.
YouTube
Exactly.
channel,
Do not try to sit home.
Doctors.
Exactly.
We are not therapists.
No, just very opinionated people. No, my whole thing is that you have to be happy as a whole individual before you should even consider being in a relationship with another person. Because if you bring your damaged ass self to somebody else, all you're going to do is just combine messes together and make a whole brand new mess. And nobody's perfect.
Right.
Absolutely not. I'm so far from perfect, and my partner is so far from perfect also. But we understand that and respect that about each other.
So you're equally crazy ass people.
You know what? One of the things why we work is we tell each other, we know that we're equally but oppositely dysfunctional.
There you go.
So it just snaps right together.
One of the truest sayings I've ever heard is you have to find somebody that's equally as crazy as you are, because
Yeah.
everybody and their mother's Looney Tunes, So.
Yeah.
Well, but here's the thing.
Let's go.
The thing is that what you said, the biggest difference though, and you just kind of touched on it a little bit, is that you guys communicate. There's communication.
Yes.
Like this, again, reading between the lines, and should I answer the call? Should I say I'm sorry? Should I tell him I love him? Should I, I think it's funny because I've talked to so many people, and I've heard, you should just get on Facebook and you see everybody's drama on Facebook,
They communicate on Facebook very well.
But to me, it's hilarious. You can communicate like a doctor on Facebook.
Right.
God forbid you actually talk to the person that you're having an issue with, or you love or you say you love and work it out. Like, don't do that. That would be ludicrous. I mean, listen to all these so-called. Let me say this. I am so sick of women with no men trying to tell their friends how to keep a man.
Ooh, you are going in
Hey,
today.
he's getting unleashed.
I'm fucking tired of that shit. Like, stop listening to these bitter ass bitches who don't have men trying to tell you how to keep a man. And same for the dudes. You got all these dudes out there claiming to be fucking pimps and, oh, we got all our shit together.
Let's get something straight. If you're claiming to be a pimp, you have no idea what you're doing.
No, exactly.
Oh yeah,
Like,
exactly.
let-
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Just shut your ass
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
At that point, no.
It infuriates me how you will assume and ridicule, accuse based off of Facebook, but you won't. For a second, you. It's like there's so many people out there who will cut their nose to spite their face because on all planets they just can't even fathom.
It's pride and ego, man.
Thank you.
You know what I
Say it,
You know
David.
what I think is a major issue is as well as communicating is forgiveness. People don't respect the value of forgiveness.
Amen.
I've had relationships before that were saved by my own forgiveness. There I was just like, I was looking back and being like that wouldn't have happened unless I had stuck my head neck all the way out there and been like, I love you.
But the truth with that is forgiveness. People's I think interpretation of forgiveness is, oh, I'm sorry I did that. Well, that's part of it, but you have to acknowledge it. You have to take ownership for it, and you have to attempt to make it right. I mean, it doesn't. You don't.
Of course,
However,
it goes with a genuine
Exactly,
apology.
exactly,
And
yeah.
by that I
Yeah,
mean like
and-
a sincerity. Being
It's-
And I
a
wanna go
whole
off
lot
what
more
you're
than,
saying
I'm
off of
sorry.
about putting your ego aside, because I think one of the biggest problems people have is that they feel the need that they have to be right.
Oh.
And you know what I mean? It's like you might be right in your head based on your experiences, but it may not be right to that other person.
Correct.
And they assume everybody has the same perspective.
And the thing is, and you guys are all right. And Danger, I want to touch on that. You're
Projecting.
You're absolutely right in the fact that there is nothing wrong with saying I'm sorry. And there's nothing wrong with people feel like, oh, if I forgive that person, then that makes me weak. That makes me, that means they got the upper hand. No, man, like, fuck, just listen. If you made a mistake, if you're the person that made the mistake, or even if you're being accused of something, in your heart you really didn't do it, whatever, man, is there anything above just saying I'm sorry? Is there anything above just going, you know what? Hey, I love you enough, and I'm sorry. Like, forgive me if I've hurt you. If it's upset the other person, then obviously something's been done wrong.
At least I'm sorry for the misunderstanding.
Exactly.
Let's figure it
Let's
out.
figure
Hold on,
it out.
hold
Right,
on.
right,
Let's,
right.
I just wanted to clarify because I'll be honest, this is what pisses me off. Okay.
Tell me what
If-
pisses you
I'll
off.
tell you.
Okay.
If you're gonna be sorry, like somebody said, be sincere about it.
Right.
Nothing pisses me off more than when somebody says, "I'm sorry, you're mad." Bullshit. Don't be sorry that I'm upset. Be sorry because of what you did,
Right,
not
right,
because
right,
of
right,
what
right.
you caused.
Right,
That's the
yeah.
part that gets
I'm
me.
sorry of the sterile environment of you being mad that I don't have
Exactly,
anything to do with
exactly.
it.
It's like-
I
it's like
came in
the
with a
worst
smock and an apron.
I'm-sorry.
I don't have anything to do with this.
Yes,
Mad.
exactly. Like
I'm like a
kryptonite,
scientist.
yeah.
I'm observing. You're mad.
It's like that's bullshit.
Sad.
No.
How mad you are.
That's when I usually tell her, lay down on the couch and tell me your feelings. 'Cause
Exactly. Right.
I'm
'Cause I
sorry.
have nothing to do
Yeah,
with
right,
this,
right.
but No.
But in turn, I've also really benefited, including my most
Your what?
recent relationship.
What's that?
It's good,
Sorry.
you know?
I got it.
From-
Ain't no thing.
I've benefited from forgiveness in turn. Like I think that when you have this super inflated ego and you want to be right, and in this day and age, it has a lot that kind of has to do with holding hands with victimization.
Yeah.
Right.
So you take hits like they're the real deal. So we have, I think, in modern popular dating culture, there's like this idea that like especially among like pop culture in movies and stuff, like if a man fucks up at all, it's over. No way, he's not worth it. No, like if
Right.
there's anything that he does wrong, then it's unacceptable.
Right.
But like I'm saying is like I've benefited from forgiveness, and I've forgiven other people.
Oh,
I can
yeah.
see its value, and I think that the pop culture encourages women to nip shit in the bud more often,
Right.
rather than
I'd have to agree with that.
discover forgiveness.
Yeah,
At the same
I'm-
time, I can see you being like, but that's
Tell me,
the thing,
tell
like,
me.
Oh, this is gonna hurt me on the inside a little bit. I agree with you to a point. I think there's levels of acceptable forgiveness. Like if you say something rude and harsh that you didn't mean, absolutely, okay, talk that out, forgive it, just let it go. There's certain things in my book that I don't think I would forgive. And honestly, if my girlfriends came to me, I would be like, no, get your ass out of there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're right. There are levels of forgiveness. But
Right.
let me just say
Of course.
this.
You're not going to stay with someone who's like strangling puppies. Like there's
Right.
stuff that they can do
Right?
that is
Exactly.
game-changing.
But here's the thing. Listen, with that being said, you can't, and again, this doesn't say, oh, I'm going to allow myself to be walked on and you can do whatever you want and I'll forgive you because forgiveness is love and blah, blah, blah. Like, I get all that.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing. If you're on the other end of that and you're upset at someone, make sure it's a valid fucking point. Make sure it's really valid. Don't be accusing people of some shit that you like there's no proof, there's no validity. You're constantly dogging that person. You're constantly in that person's ass. I mean,
No, but I heard from my brother's cousin's the third wife. He told me that he saw you the other day. So like,
right.
Yeah.
This is a really crazy show, and I think that there's a lot that we're bringing to it that maybe our viewers aren't aware of. Like, I think we might want to change the name to like the Baggage Podcast.
Well, no, hold on, because listen, I'm telling you, I've been working myself up for this one for 3 weeks, and listen, it's not just like personal stuff. I'm saying I've been talking to a lot of people, and not about what I've either been through or going through or whatever. It's not about me. What I'm saying is that there's so many people out there. You know, I've got friends of mine right now that literally they're going through hell with their relationships because neither party will budge. Mm-hmm. She fucked up, he fucked up. She doesn't understand me, he doesn't understand me. We don't love each other anymore because of this and this. And here's the crazy thing. A lot of it derives on jealousy, assumptions, accusations. Like, quit all that bullshit, man. Like, for real. Stop allowing Facebook to dictate your
But okay,
relationship.
let's take that even further though. Where does jealousy come from?
Insecurity.
Yes, exactly.
Insecurity. No, I get it.
It goes
There-
back to
but
are you okay as a person?
But there's listen, you can be the most confident person on the planet. Even Dr. Phil. I heard Dr. Phil say one time, there's a certain level of healthy jealousy, you know, but you could be the most confident person on the planet and you could be, you know, self-confident all to hell. But guess what?
everybody has something.
Everybody has a little bit of jealousy. A little bit of jealousy, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it. Just a little bit. I mean, listen.
Jealousy's healthy if it's done in the
listen,
correct
if you
manner.
don't care what your spouse does ever, or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, if you don't care what they do ever, there's a little bit of a problem there. I mean, hey, sure, honey, go camping with those 6 guys all weekend. I love you and I got you. It's
Okay, now let's back up there. That's trust though. I'll be very honest. My husband goes on dude trips.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Dude
Well,
trips.
that's-
But listen. If he went on if he went on a chick trip with 6 strippers on a
What?
rowboating or boating.
He doesn't rowboat. So
Okay, well, I'm just
Well,
saying.
if I'd go rowboating if there were 6 strippers,
Would you?
I'm just saying.
You're kind of a freak, Josh.
expanding.
Come on. I know, it doesn't surprise me.
It's open. It's cool. He's got it.
But you know what I'm saying? There is certain levels of
Yeah. Okay.
there's boundaries that everybody
Trust.
must, and there is trust and insecurity, and I believe in that 100%. Like, don't bring your baggage. Don't, you know, if you're insecure, I mean, that's really a personal issue, and you got to fix that. Like, you can't expect somebody else to fix that. You can't love that away. You can't do, you know, you have to fix that on
And
your own.
the other side of that though is you can't fix somebody else's insecurity.
Absolutely
You
not.
can't tell yourself, I'm going to love them so much that they're no.
Right.
No. You're spinning your wheels. They need to address that themselves.
Right.
You can't fix people, and it goes both ways.
No, I absolutely agree. I don't think that there's any way you can do that. But I'm just saying, there's got to be a common ground with each other. Like, we all know, there's not one person that doesn't come to the table when they meet someone without baggage, without a little bit of insecurity or jealousy or overbearingness. Or there's always something. Hey, you know, my ex screwed me up so bad, and you know. But here's the thing: you still have to be accountable for your own feelings.
Oh,
And
without
there's
a doubt.
still nothing wrong with putting the gauntlets down and saying, look, I'm sorry. You know what? Hey, I admit it. I am broken. And I need some help. And if you love me and work with me, I'll fight through this. I'll try not to bring my baggage onto you. Nobody does that anymore. Nobody does that anymore. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
If like you said,
Well, I think there
you
are.
fuck up, that's it. It's a wrap. Oh,
People
you're
get
a piece-
mad because their ego's hurt. They feel
Oh,
like a
yeah, you're a
victim.
piece
They
of
wanna
shit.
be right,
And
so
here's
it's
what's
gotta be
worse.
over.
Then you start talking to other people who may not like that person. So, of course, that's fuel to the fire. I said this the other day. I posted this on Instagram. Everybody loves to put in their 2 cents. Everybody loves
No, without a doubt.
to, you know, if you're the guy and you're talking to a girl who might be hurt from another guy, oh, yes, of course he's an asshole. Oh, if I was your man, there would be no way I would ignore you.
Oh yeah, there's always
Everybody has their own goddamn motives. Like, fuck, stop all that bullshit. Act like an adult. Talk to the person you have the issue with. Stop talking to the rest of the world. Because everybody, listen, not one person who's giving you that advice would be doing the same exact thing if they were in the same exact situation. If they were in a situation with someone that they love and they truly were hurting and they were getting advice like that from other people, they would be doing the same. They would be acting the same way. So all the, and it's like the true saying. If someone's willing to talk shit to you about someone, they're willing to talk shit about you to someone else as well.
Well, see, absolutely, I agree with that. In my opinion, one of the most important things to do in a relationship is, hypothetically, you're with your partner and you, for whatever reason, he leaves his socks or underwear on the couch or whatever, and she gets mad at it and she gets pissed. Well, you have to keep that argument within yourselves, because if I go to my friend, or let's say my hypothetical wife, she goes to her mother, Joshua left his shit on the couch again. I'm so pissed. He never respects me. He never does this. Well, I seriously doubt her mother would have my side. And then all of a sudden they get into their stress. But a week later, she forgives me and we're back in love and everything else. But her mother still holds that grudge.
Oh, yeah.
So you have to keep your internal workings between yourself. That's why Facebook
At the same time,
is.
that's a classic. That's one of the oldest mechanisms in human existence. And think about for a second how it might be useful. Like, a woman is hurt by her lover.
If she's
She
getting
goes and talks
beat.
to her mom about it, she's able to give that negativity to her, and her brain automatically, through that talk, is able to switch back over to a point of reconciliation. where
Buy a
she's
puppy.
Negotiating with her mom for the benefit
Buy a
of her
puppy.
husband.
No.
Is able to get back
No,
into
but
a
no,
healthy headspace.
you're on it.
Yeah,
I'll be
you're able
on
to
it.
get back into a healthy
But,
headspace and
yeah.
get back to your marriage and be healthy. But the unhealthy, sad byproduct is now your mom has all this stuff about your husband.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
You got to be careful who
you say
vent to,
stuff.
because
Exactly.
I'll be honest.
Because if you get back with that person, then the person you vented to, you look
Hates
like an asshole.
But
exactly.
again,
Exactly.
it's kind of like girl code. You got to have that one chick that you're really, really tight with, and you vent to each other, and it's funny. I'll use your socks on the couch thing,
Yeah,
whatever. If I was mad at that or whatever, we can talk about it, my girlfriend and I or whatever, and then we'll laugh about it, and I'll realize, okay, that was stupid. That was just really stupid.
Well, but you have a trusted partner. That's the
Yes.
difference.
Yes, that's the thing. You got to keep that circle tight.
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
But if I might offer a full disclosure, I've been married a really long time, like really long time, and it's a good thing. I'm like really happy about it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I don't think people realize is that you have to learn how to fight. You
Absolutely.
have to learn how to argue
Absolutely.
respectfully.
Say that again, Diane.
You got to learn how to fight. You do,
Learn how to
because
argue
you're not going to
respectfully.
agree all the time.
It's not the end of the world if you disagree.
No.
Right.
Thank you.
No,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
two,
Holy
there's,
shit.
there's two big rules of arguing.
Not
that
every
I'd like
argument
to
is an
share.
end all be all.
Right,
No,
right.
But if you're going to argue, and I'm going to use your sock example.
Go ahead.
That was like classic, right?
Right.
The way you address that is, I would never, if you came home to me and I'd be like, you bastard, there's your damn sock. No, you don't do that. It would be more like, it bothers me
Right.
when you leave your socks there because I feel like you're being disrespectful.
I said this the other day. If I've never understood if you're married or in a relationship for that matter, and she said, we're mad, you sleep on the couch. I hate to break it to you, but my ass is going nowhere. My ass is in the bed 24/7, and if
that
you
was a weird thing.
that shit ain't gonna
Yeah.
happen with me. I
wouldn't be like,
guarantee
oh,
you.
so-
it's fine. Get
so
your
you're one of those
blanket
guys.
mad.
Yeah, I am one of those guys. Absolutely.
You know what? I'll be honest with you.
Like, you can be mad,
Like,
but
really,
you're
this is
still
gonna
gonna
be
sleep with me.
interesting.
I ain't going nowhere.
If I said that shit to my husband, you can go sleep on the couch, he'd be like, you know what, screw you, it's more comfortable anyway, I'm out. But we don't, but the
Right,
point
right,
is
right.
when you argue with somebody, it's like you own your anger.
Absolutely.
You
absolutely.
did not make me angry, I let myself get angry.
Hey, I don't know. I'm sorry you're angry. I
Yeah,
just-
shut up. But it's like you have to own your own emotion. Nobody makes you feel anything.
Oh, yeah.
You make that decision to feel it.
Well, here's the thing. I think that with those kind of, I think people let things get so out of proportion sometimes, and when you have a disagreement, it's okay to listen. Just like they say sometimes, let's just agree to disagree.
Right.
Disagreement, it's okay. It's
Right.
not the end all be all. Like
Yeah.
we don't have to break up every single time there's
Exactly,
a problem.
exactly.
I mean, we don't have to go through all this nonsense every time. We either hear something or see something, whatever. I mean, there's always something that's going on. I mean, whatever happened to the days where you just respect each other, you love each other. Doesn't matter what the outside world. You're always it. Can I just say this? If you think the grass is greener on the other side of the field, trust me. When you get there, there's gonna be weeds in it. There's gonna be shit in it. It's always. Everybody's great the first 2-3 months. If you're lucky enough to find somebody who will put up with your goofy ass, with your insecurities, if you're lucky enough to find someone, and that's on both ends of the spectrum.
Amen.
Man, like, whatever happened to working it out, like sticking together? Like, if you love someone, like Diane said earlier, stop the bullshit. If you love someone, just say it. Just say, listen, I love you. I miss you. I want to be with you. It's okay. We can be crazy together. Let's work this out.
Right.
Nobody says that anymore. And like Danger said, there's no forgiveness. And it's very healing to be able to forgive. And to be given forgiveness. It's so funny, man. Like, I don't know if you guys know people like this, but there's some people, like, if you fuck up with, like, it's a wrap. Yet they'll go to church every Sunday. Praise the Lord, but God forbid they forgive.
Right.
There's no mercy. You fucked up. I hate you. Everybody else hates you. Everybody told me not to be with you. You're a douchebag. You're this. You're that.
With the exception, you're absolutely correct with what you say. However, going back to your point, there are certain things that, at least personally for me, like, I can't get over. I forgive with the grain of salt and do a lot, but there's certain things I would never forgive. Infidelity. You can still love somebody.
I get it.
You can still love somebody.
But don't assume.
Oh,
accuse
no,
with
absolutely. No,
validation.
But
absolutely.
let's go back to infidelity, because that's a big one for me.
Right.
That's like that game changer done.
Right.
But the friends that I've seen go through that in their
Mm-hmm.
marriage and their relationships, there's always a root reason why that happens.
Correct.
It's not just somebody accidentally slept with you.
I
No,
tripped and fell in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's other stuff that was going on that never got addressed.
Right.
That ultimately led to that point where that other person felt like they needed to get validation from somebody else.
Right.
So again, it goes back to just be true in who you are.
Right.
And talk to the other person.
Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
do
absolutely.
it in an unemotional, unaccusatory, and for fuck's sake, don't call your partner bad words. I admit.
Wait. For who?
I know, right? Exactly. I
Right.
totally have, but I'll be honest. I've never called my husband a bad name out of anger.
No, that's
Never.
disrespectful.
Exactly.
It's
There's
completely
a
disrespectful.
respect line.
You don't-
I can honestly say with 100% confidence in myself, in any relationship I've ever been in, when I do get angry, I usually get quiet or I get real serious, but I have never ever called names. Or because I truly believe is you give what you want. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
I think I can believe that about you.
I can honestly say that if a female were to say something derogatory, you're a piece of shit. I wouldn't even. I'd be like, okay, well then
Wouldn't you
we're done.
forgive her, Josh?
As
Would you forgive that?
Only if she made that face.
you know what? Probably not.
You asshole!
Like, what if you? Because I've been with like crazy chicks like that that are like, I'm gonna go suck someone else's dick, you motherfucker!
It's called relationship Tourette's. It happens. It's real.
Like,
The struggle is real.
Right.
Like a relationship to
You
Rex.
know, you just have to like learn
Right.
to be like the Buddha hovering over the snake pit. Nothing can touch you. It's like it's fine.
The Buddha.
I like that. That's smooth. Yeah.
I don't know. I had some hallucinogen fueled epiphany in college about living life.
What was her name?
like
Tiffany?
The about living life like a Buddha hovering over a snake pit somehow.
That's-
it made a lot of sense when we were like.
Hey.
What a great image.
Think
Right.
about it.
Hey, well, yeah.
You know, the snakes, and then you know they want to bite him. You know? But he just like, whatever. He's good. And he's like, and his whatever gives him power, gives him a lift. And if he started being like, oh, snakes, he'd start dropping, you know.
That's good. I like that. That's a good analogy.
You
I'm
benefit
going
from
with
that
it.
shit.
Wonderful
I
metaphor.
would even throw it out there that I think the infidelity and saying and using derogatory terms, even like some of the worst crimes you can think of in a relationship, sometimes there's a place where you can move past it and have a good relationship.
You know what? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're
Listen,
absolutely
Like I was
correct.
saying, I've benefited from that, and I've also gone the other. I've gone
Well, see,
both
and
ways on that.
here's what's so, and I'm sure we all agree, is like we're all pretty clear headed now. We're not angry. We're not in huge arguments with somebody else. So you can say these things clearly. But when you're in the heat of the moment, like things change, and something again.
It's possible to love a sick fuck.
Oh.
A sick, twisted fuck. And
Well,
love them.
You know what?
It's possible.
Well, you're one of my best
Everybody
friends,
needs
and
love.
I
Yeah,
love you.
everybody
You're a
does.
sick, twisted fuck. You know what I mean? So
I need love.
right, absolutely.
You know?
But when you're in the heat of the moment, things your whole aspect changes, and you remember that conversation you had just 3 minutes ago about being calm and being Buddha over the snakes, but like that doesn't work when you're in the heat of the moment. So I can take that from, or at least from personal experience, when I was younger. Like I used to get mad and say what was on my mind, but it doesn't always do you the best. So at least for me now, I like to, literally sleep on it or breathe on it, because otherwise things will come out of your mouth that
you gotta turn the other cheek, man. Like I
Well,
was,
you
raised
can't-
on that principle. And
Right.
A lot of people misunderstand that. They think turn the other cheek means you look the other way.
Right.
They think that you slap on the cheek and you forgive and you move on. You look the other. No, that's not what that means. Turn the other cheek means you say, "Hit me on the other side, motherfucker."
right.
Keep going. That's what.
Right.
that means. You know?
What?
That's what
That wasn't what I was
Like,
expecting
turn
to
the
come
other
out of
cheek.
your mouth.
Okay.
It doesn't mean look
Okay.
away and disregard what happens.
Right,
It means
right.
Continue to allow yourself to be punished so that you can be
You would,
somehow
I think,
righteously validated.
Hey, I got you.
yeah.
But again, going back to the fighting properly though, is if it's a legitimate issue, you need to be able to walk away.
Yes.
Let the anger diffuse, let the emotion diffuse, and then go.
There's
back and
nothing
say,
wrong with being angry. Nothing
No,
wrong.
Anger
no,
is a gift.
But
Yeah.
when you do that and you speak in anger, like you
Yes.
said, you say things. You could still say what you're going to say. Just
Later.
take 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yes, to do whatever it takes to get that anger, and then you could say,
Yes.
those socks.
Well,
dude,
here's
seriously.
the thing too.
Absolutely.
I think if you're, arguing, there's healthy arguments, right? There's things that obviously every couple, and I think this is so funny because you hear these people who are like, oh, I'm better off, or I'm this or I'm that, and oh, I met the man of my dreams, or I met the perfect woman. No, you didn't. You met the perfect man or the perfect woman for that moment, but
That night.
Exactly, and let things start simmering out, right, and get into some real time with that person,
Right.
and some real conversations or some real disagreements, and you'll quickly see that the grass wasn't greener on the other side.
Absolutely.
And there's nothing worse than knowing, and I think a lot of it comes down to knowing that you have way too much pride for your own good. Your ego's way too big for your own good. You won't even accept the fact that you could be wrong just a little bit, or it's funny because I think that
Why is he looking right at me when he's saying that?
Sorry.
listen, and again, this doesn't say lay down your heart and just allow it to be walked on or stepped on. But somebody once told me one time, he said, it's too bad human beings don't forgive like dogs forgive.
Oh yeah.
This world would be a much better place if we literally acted. People say, "Oh, you're a dog, you're a dog." Well, sometimes it'd be cool if we did act like dogs because you could whoop a dog's ass, and 10 seconds later call to you, and it'll literally lick your feet, lick your hand.
Oh, yeah.
They know forgiveness, and
It's
they will protect you with their life. right?
Unconditional love.
It's unconditional love.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is. It's unconditional love. And when you listen, you shouldn't toss that word around if you don't really mean it.
Absolutely not.
Listen, people say, "Oh, I have unconditional love for my partner, except when,
Except.
or if they don't do this."
Yeah.
Did you hear me mentally going through my list of conditions in my head?
Oh,
'Cause
yeah.
I was going
Right,
through my
right,
ones. I
right.
totally was. Like,
Right.
Yeah, and it's like.
But
listen,
is that still valid? At least for me, at the beginning of a relationship, I pretty much lay it on the line, speak out front. I'll accept. I do have unconditional love,
you're
except
pretty literal,
for
Josh. I don't know if I
that-
could be a chick and date someone. I would.
I know he was
Actually,
listing
Josh.
potential problems that one might have with a potential
Hey.
mate.
I try to cover all my bases. Try to cover.
Contract.
Right, right.
Your contract.
Right, right.
Socks on the floor. Like, holy shit.
He has a checklist.
That's a
that he
deal
goes
breaker.
through.
Right, right. Yeah.
So if I leave my panties on your dresser.
Done.
No, here's the thing. Like, I couldn't even imagine. Like, you get with Josh and you get this like contract, this
Cover all your
application,
bases. Cover all
this
your bases.
application, all these stipulations you must meet. And
Yeah.
follow.
Sometimes the quarter doesn't bounce when they make the bet. You gotta forgive them for that. Sometimes you gotta just be the bigger guy.
You know, if it doesn't bounce, you know, I mean, you gotta have the
You
sheets.
get
Well,
two
chick, I'd be
strikes
like,
and then you're out.
If
You're
I was
out.
a chick, I'd be like, never mind. I'll ask you. So,
Well, that's not why they stay with me. It's because I'm just a really nice person. So.
we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about who they are.
Yeah, we'll talk about who they are later. You know, so do you think that most relationship problems, again, we're not doctors, but do you think that most relationship problems could be avoided or solved with just basic communication? Just
A great majority of them, absolutely.
really, just basic communication. Just, you know, not allowing anger or. Let me ask you guys this, and we talked about it a little bit, but allowing other people influence your thoughts when you're in that heat of the battle. Of course, you always have to have one person. There's people you want to talk to. I get it. When you're hurting.
Yeah, but trusted, valued people, not just random.
Exactly.
Not
Not
Facebook
bitter
people.
ass.
Yeah.
Not bitter ass bitches who can't keep a man. Not
kind of like-
dudes who, you know, only have one motive. You know what I mean? Like there's
What motive?
Come on, Josh. You're the last person I need to be talking about to.
No, I'm literal. I just want to clarify what we're talking about here.
Like this, and this might be a weird question, but like for your marriage personally, like, do you consider it? Does it belong to? Do you consider it to belong to you, or does it belong to like you and your husband, or does it feel like it belongs to you and your kids and your husband, or does it belong to a larger family group, or like where like?
That's
Good question.
Interesting.
That's a
interesting.
really good question.
I would probably say it belongs to my husband and to me, because
To you two.
one of the things that I feel like I learned early on in our, and 'cause, again, we've been married a long time. We made a lot of mistakes, okay, and we learned
Speak
from
on
them.
it.
No,
Thank you.
we totally did.
Yeah.
We made a lot of mistakes. Egos at play, this and that. We were young, we were stupid, just all kinds of stuff, you know. And I'll be honest, we've gone through counseling off and on, and some of the best stuff we've ever done. But one of the biggest things that I think that we work so well is that we're both individuals that happened to come together.
Right.
He doesn't complete me. I don't complete him. He is his own person. He's got his own life. I got my own life. But then we have another thing that's together.
Right.
You know.
And
Makes
you know,
sense.
I've been fortunate enough to have been around your family several times. You know, Diane and I go way back. We've done a bunch of different movies together, some different projects, and she's invited me over, and I've gotten to see her family firsthand. And like, it's crazy because like you look at and I know many couples that are like this that you see and you're like, wow, man, like that's what I would want. You know what I mean? Where you have good, you know, I mean, for real, like, and again, you know that no relationship is perfect. I'm sure that they've had, but like you said, you've worked through them, and here you are. How long have you guys been together?
We met when I was 18.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's been, we haven't been married that entire time.
No, but you've been together.
Yeah, we've been together.
How long
since
did you
I was
guys date before you guys got married?
4 years.
Hmm.
And honestly, it was me that kept pushing it off. Because it was like, I wanted to be my own person. And at 18, I wasn't. At 19, I wasn't. You know, I wanted to get through school. I had my own personal goals I wanted to get done
Right.
before I could even fathom being with somebody in that capacity.
And here's the thing. Let me point this out. Diane is an actress. She's an entrepreneur who's very successful in both fields. And her husband, if I might say, is very far removed from that type of business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And he supports her 100%. There are, you know, and listen, like
It's not like a house of cards thing where you
Right.
walk by each other in the house and like,
Get that stare down,
you know,
that
and he's
eagle
like
eye
at the
kind of
window
thing.
looking out.
No. No.
But here's the thing. You being an actress, you know,
Doesn't complicate the relationship.
right, and there could, listen, let's be honest. I mean, you're a very attractive woman. You have a great lifestyle. I mean, I can see where, you know, as a husband, like, wow, if I allowed myself to think that way, like, man, you know, she gets all this attention everywhere she goes. I'm sure on Facebook, I could be jealous on Facebook, but you guys don't have any of those issues.
No.
What a great, I mean, God,
Yeah.
what a breath of fresh air.
But
that's
to
trust.
not to not have to be
It's
walking on
trust,
eggshells.
yeah.
It's trust.
Right.
And I'll be honest.
And you have a lot of male friends.
I do.
A lot of male friends.
I do. But okay, but let's kind of go back though. I grew up with nothing but men.
Mhm.
I had brothers and my dad. That's who I grew up with. So that's just kind of how like
Right.
that's what my world is. And he knew that when he first
Right.
met me. But you know, I'll be honest. I trust him implicitly.
Mhm.
In fact, he and I've even had that conversation. You know, we talk about anything and everything.
Right.
And we had the conversation about cheating because that is a deal killer for me. you know, me being, you know, West Side Latina, I told him, you cheat on me, you just won't wake up one day. That's how that's going to end. You know, I'm straightforward.
You die. That's you. That's it.
Yeah.
Just so he knows up front. Like, there's going to be no coming back kind
Well,
of deal.
see, that goes back to the beginning of the
Oh, yeah.
contract.
That's a contract. It is a verbal contract.
So
Yes, it is.
see.
But on the flip side, his answer, and this is why I love the man so much. He very calmly said, you know, I would never do that to you because I respect you too much. And if there was another woman, I would break it off with you before I did anything with anybody else.
Yeah. Well,
Was it the best answer I want to hear? No, I want to hear, baby, I'm gonna love you forever.
Right,
You're gonna be mine
right,
forever.
right,
But
right.
he was honest,
Right.
you know, and I respect that. It's like,
well, you
Alright.
can't. Honestly, there's nothing you can do with it other than accept it. Either get mad at it or don't accept it, or accept it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's and lies you can always bullshit through. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But with upfront honesty, I mean, you deal with it or you don't.
yeah, exactly. You talk it
This
out,
is
you
who I
say
am.
it.
This is who you are.
Exactly. None of this
Well-
pretense crap.
Well, and that again goes back to, you know, if you're, and again, it's very, very different when you're being offered advice by someone who, you know, can't, you know, maintain even a relationship with friends, much less another person, and you know, you're getting this advice and they're in your ear.
Well, I think in general,
Well, but hold on, because you know, listen, if I get advice from someone like Diane, who has been through the ringer, she understands the peaks and valleys of a relationship.
Right.
They're still very happily married. You know, it's just like, you know, I was talking to this gentleman it was about a month ago. I was talking to this gentleman, you know, 65 years old. No, 70. He was 70 years old. We happened to run into each other at Starbucks, and he was sitting all by himself, and I don't know what compelled me to start talking to him, but I sat like, the only two seats that were left were like us and those seats that face each other. So we started talking, and he starts telling me about his wife. They've been married 48 years. 48 years. And I said, can I ask you a question? It may sound personal, but can I ask you a question? He goes, sure. I said, how have you made it work? And without skipping a beat, he said, I'll do anything to make her smile.
Aww.
yeah,
He said, being right isn't as important to me as her smile.
right.
Being in control isn't as important to me as her smile. And I was just like,
Yeah.
like, and he said it. He was like, listen, you come to a point where, you know, it's not about being right. You know, it's like, listen, I don't ever. He was like, and he told me, he was very candid. He was like, there were times that we drove each other up the wall.
Mm-hmm.
There were times we slept in separate rooms of the house. There were times that he was like, but you don't give up on people.
Right.
People quit on each other so quickly. They're so quick to. He was like, back in my day, he was like, we didn't have technology like you guys have now. He was like,
That's an instant gratification society we have today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And-
That's why we can give up.
well, and he was like, but when I cut through all the nonsense, when we had arguments, and it really came down, and we sift through all the nonsense, for me, my ego wasn't big enough.
Yeah.
I love to see her smile.
Right.
And if being told I was wrong made it right, I was okay with that. And he flat out was like, she's my queen. She's the best thing to this day.
Yeah.
What she says goes, and I don't argue it. Her smile clears the day for me, and
That's cool.
I just wanted to hold him. I was like, can you hold me
we
for
just
a second?
cuddle?
Yeah, can I snuggle with you for just a second? But what a beautiful. And he said it. He was like, and he was telling me about his son. His son has been through 3 marriages. His son has been married and divorced 3 times, and he was like, and it's all because he said, and my son is so headstrong. Everything's an end-all be-all fight. Everything's an end-all be-all battle. To him, it's, you know, we're in the new millennium, and we're men, and we're in control, and women are the same way.
Right.
Women are like, I'm not dealing with that bullshit. Like, you know, I'll show you. I'll go sleep with your friends. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's so crazy in today's society. Whatever happened to just like being that person?
If I can just sort of add to that, that's a beautiful thing. And I think part of the problem is that people feel the need to find that and will try to make that with anybody that will give them the chance. Okay?
Right.
Not everybody is meant to
Absolutely.
be with you.
Absolutely.
You know,
Because
there's certain matches that are good with you. Not everybody's
your personality doesn't work with.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And you can't force things to happen.
Amen.
You know,
Yep.
so it's like
Absolutely.
you gotta be whole in yourself. You gotta get your personal self to your happiest being, because you will attract how you see yourself.
Right.
Correct.
So if you see yourself as like, oh my God, I need love,
Right,
you're
right.
gonna find somebody who's desperate and needy too, and then boom, you're gonna have collisions and clashes and whatever.
Right, right.
But if you are 100% cool being single because you're happy with what you're doing and you're confident and whatever, you're gonna attract another person that's just like that and happy in their own self. And
Correct.
Then you make something out of it,
Right.
you know. But
Well,
don't fabricate stuff.
And
you know?
don't
Try to.
and let's touch on the subject. I mean, we've talked a lot about internal stuff that each individual goes through, right, with their relationships. But let's talk a little bit about going back. What I was talking about earlier is allowing the outside influences. Like, I mean, Danger. What do you? I mean, seriously, what do you think about that, man? Here's the funny. It was funny. And I won't get into the details of the conversation, but a couple weeks ago we were having a meeting, and I just kind of made a mention to Danger. I said, hey, it's you're so lucky you always seem so happy.
Yeah, it must
and-
be nice to you.
Yeah, it must be nice to
Working out for you
yeah.
over there.
Boot over the
and-
snakes, man.
And he really it was really kind of crazy because he and I couldn't sleep.
I kind of unloaded. I was
Yeah,
like,
he
oh,
definitely
everything's
unloaded
nice,
on me, and
well,
I couldn't. And I couldn't sleep that night because I felt on one half of me, I felt really bad. I was like, wow, man, like, how in tune am I to my friends? Like, if I just assume that everything's great, But it's just one of those things, and that I saw, and I was like, wow, like, Danger, he's human too. We all have those. We all have those insecurities. We all have issues. We all have things that we're fighting through every day.
You heard it here on the Focus Podcast first, folks. I am human.
Danger
Danger has issues.
Danger has issues. No, but tell me what you think about that, Danger. What do you think about like having the outside influences of, other girlfriends talking in your girl's ear, other people talking in your ear, and is that kind of why you don't say anything?
Yeah, in my experience, usually that kind of advice is almost nothing but negative and destructive because it doesn't pertain to their own personal. Whenever you ask someone else what to do with your own personal affairs, they don't have the same. They don't appreciate what its value to you.
Right.
So I think there are exceptions though, but obviously not. Like I would say, like if close family, like moms and stuff like that. But at the same time, I've almost never shared personal relationship information with my mom because she almost always gives me advice that is opposite of what I feel like
right.
is something that I would do. Her first thing is like, oh, things aren't going well. And she's like, well, you gotta put a ring on the finger. I'm like, I don't know if that'll. Damn, I don't know
I
if
don't want
that'll
a
help.
lifetime of this hell.
Let's have a baby to save the marriage.
Yeah.
Right.
What? Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. We'll have a baby with that. And I don't know. Whatever happened to that one girl? She was nice. You want me to end things and go back?
See, sometimes you need to hear
Okay.
stupid advice so you know exactly what not to do
Right.
and it takes you the
Yeah.
other way.
Right. That's good.
But yeah, I think
I like that.
almost always the advice of your friends is destructive and negative. All my boys always, the last 6 years, all my struggles, anytime I ever go to my friends with personal problems, I always get advice that is negative and destructive and not something that is like, oh, you know what, you gotta ditch her and just get out there and get it in, bro. I need to get out. Okay.
Well, that's not really what I was looking for, but
People,
Well, I think
people give you destructive, negative advice, or I feel like what I was complaining about at the beginning of the show about like girlfriends telling girls, their advice, they're like.
Well, people
I feel like
project.
I've always been getting attacked by some lover or girlfriend's
Right.
advice. She said, because they're always
Yeah.
like, oh hell no, you gotta respect yourself. Like, 'cause it's not their life, and they're like they don't understand. The values are all off.
I
Because it's
think,
easy for
yeah.
your friend who's emotionally unattached to be like, well, you just got to live by the set of values.
Right.
Yeah, it's easy.
And just, we all do make that motion. We all do that together.
Get the values in line and good.
No, but I agree. I think, when you ask your friends for advice, they kind of bring their own
Baggage.
But I will say this, if a friend comes to you with questions about what should I do, I think all you really need to do is just ask the question back to them.
True.
Right.
Don't ever
Yeah.
tell
Very
them
true.
you need to do X, Y,
Yeah,
and Z.
play Socrates and try to
Yeah,
answer
like
the question.
Play the
with another
psychologist because
question.
that's what they do. That's what
They just ask you the
So
question.
what do you feel?
Exactly.
Well, you know what? This is. Well, you should go with that.
Because really, do you want somebody's like destructive relationship or destructive
Ex-
breakup on your hands?
Right, exactly.
No, you don't. Nobody's perfect. You can't
Right.
tell people what to do.
Right.
Well, the truth of the matter is I think, obviously everybody has their own being, and like I can give you general advice, and then you feel what you want to do, but you have to you stay out of people's relationships. I mean, that's the. I mean, everyone says they understand that, but when it gets down to it, they're like, "Oh yeah, so let me hear more about it. Tell me more." And then
Yeah.
and then it starts to get into that. Oh, just leave her, leave him.
Exactly right. What Dave
Yeah.
just said. Oh, you need
Put
to
a ring
respect
on it.
yourself.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
that's
You're
always.
extreme.
It's just crazy because like I feel like, and I'll give you a perfect and not that I know this is probably going to be a really really touchy subject, and I know it is because I got caught in the crossfire with it for a long time. Ray Rice. He's a very, very good friend of mine. Obviously the whole world knows what happened. There was an altercation. But I can tell you, I've been around that family. And what a beautiful family they are. I mean, and here's the thing, like, Janae, talk about people being in your ear. I mean,
Ray
literally.
Rice is actually, that's a really good example because I'm sure because everyone on the whole goddamn planet was like, "Oh, you gotta leave that man."
Right,
and it was
right.
her personal decision. She made it, and she sounds like she's happy with the
Oh,
decision
they
she's
are
made.
listen.
So it sounds like it's more complicated than what everyone's knee-jerk reaction is, and it has more to do with forgiveness and
Right.
and their relationship. And
But what does
that's
everyone say? If that were me, if that were me, that's what everyone. If that were me, I'd do this. If that were me, well, that's right. If that were you, it's
Right.
not you.
Well, and here's the thing.
Because I've
Nine-
gotten jumped by chicks that I still love the next day. It's happened. I got hit in the eye with an umbrella, and I woke up the next day, love you. Mwah.
Right?
You're like, yes, I
Yeah.
love you with
Yeah,
all
still
my
like
heart.
icing it down.
It was my fault. It was my fault. I
But
totally
here's
deserve
the thing,
it.
though. In all seriousness, going back to something like that, I mean, being around them and understanding like that is the true. And it wasn't like a fabricated forgiveness. Like they truly, truly do love each other. And they're truly happy. And the thing is like, well, the one thing I will say about Ray is he owned up to it 100%. And he was like, listen, it doesn't matter if it was on camera or not. Like what I did was wrong, and I see it that way. It wasn't her fault at all. There was
Everybody knows that it's wrong.
Every-
It's
you know.
Yeah,
unacceptable,
that's the
and
thing.
there's
But most guys,
consequences.
hey, listen, you got guys in the NFL right now that do it, and they're like, yo, that bitch deserved it. I'll knock the shit out of her again. Like,
Right.
Ray took full accountability for it. But here's the thing, more so, Janae, with everybody in her ear. I mean, I remember when it happened, I went on her Instagram, and there were probably 4,000 to 5,000 messages a day on her Instagram. You need to stand for yourself and stand strong and don't be afraid and don't
Yeah.
be stupid. Fuck that dude, blah, blah, blah.
I'll be accusing her of putting on a bad example.
Oh
Right.
man,
Okay,
it was
so-
just, and she stood her ground, and she was like, I support. He's my husband. I support him. We know it's wrong. I'm not a weak woman. And she said she was on Good Morning America. She said it to Matt Lauer. She was like, don't get it twisted. I wasn't raised that way. I am not a weak woman, but, however, I know forgiveness. I know this man. This has never happened. It was an isolated incident. I said it. I'll never forget when we got a call. Me and Quentin, we were both getting called by TMZ and because that was right when we had done our anti-bullying thing that
Yeah.
hit national TV.
I just want to scoop. Like, did you hear? Did
Yeah,
you hear
everybody was like,
anybody
oh,
else?
what do you-
Yeah,
and-
yeah.
well, everybody was like, oh, you're supporting a woman beater. I'm like, yo, he's not a woman beater. They went through a rough patch. It happened. It's over with. They're good. Like,
They were asking you loaded questions like that.
oh, they were straight out. They're like, you support a woman beater? You're an anti-bullying activist, and you support I was like, yo, he's not a woman beater. That's not how it is. And here's the funny thing: you get these haters. Oh, f that dude, fuck that, blah blah. Come on, bro. Like, I know so many people, and I'm gonna just say this. I know so many people today who aren't even at that level, who beat the piss out of each other,
Oh yeah.
Okay,
And-
so let me just interject.
and still, like you said, the next day they love each other. They beat
Yeah.
each other.
That doesn't
they
mean
love
that
each
it's
other.
not
It's
fucked
doesn't-
up and wrong.
absolutely like not okay.
That's
That
not
doesn't mean
okay.
that it's
The
not
thing with
fucked
the
up
Ray
and
Rice
wrong
situation-
completely.
You're right. we do not know what happened between the two of them. And I'll be honest, I would be one of those people like, not in my watch.
Right.
I totally would.
Right.
What makes that so different, though, is that it was public.
Right.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Now,
Absolutely.
so if Ray and Janae work things out, if he owns up to it, if he takes the counseling, whatever it needs to take to address that, because if I saw that, I would think, oh my God, there's a whole world of counseling that needs to happen around that shit.
Oh, and he-
That's not
Right.
okay.
Right.
But the problem with that, though, and I don't fault Janae, I don't know her, I don't know her situation. She is queen of her own world. But from the outside, like you said, all these people were telling her to, oh, leave that man. On the outside, people are getting the message of, okay, well, I could beat my chick and she's going to stay. That's the
I don't
issue.
Well,
think that
let's
people are
make
getting
something
that
clear,
message,
right?
though.
But
Yeah,
when you see
it's
something
not
like
okay.
If anyone
It's
gets a
not.
message from that, it's maybe another NFL player would be like, that's something that not like they're gonna go try it. It's not like a type of
Yeah, I
ice
don't-
cream they want to try,
But
but,
it's
it
almost
registers
like-
that I can get away with some shit like that.
Yes.
Now they think they can.
Well, and again,
Yes.
Which
this
is why I'm
type-
glad that
That's why it was an issue.
I'm happy that the immediate repercussions were so severe, because it should be like that. It's a terrible crime.
And that's what,
committed-
listen,
like,
Ray,
yes,
Ray
so there
said
should
that.
be-
Ray said that 100%. Ray was like, listen, I will take the full repercussions, whether it, and he said this just recently. He said, whether I never play it down in the NFL again. For me, it's not about playing in the NFL. It's about letting people know that what happened was wrong. Domestic violence happens every day.
And if he did that, that's great. But
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. If you said the bulk of the women were commenting on her saying leave his ass and all that other
Well,
stuff,
there were dudes saying it too, though.
I would be more offended if those women were saying that's your husband, you need to stay there. I would be way more offended about that because it's those women then saying, suck it up, take it.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I feel like, again, this goes back to some of what Josh said and some of what Danger said. Josh said, well, if that was me, I would never let that shit go down. Well, hold on. There's been certain things that maybe not as severe as that. Well, or maybe on an equal plane, it just was a different topic or a different subject matter that has happened, and people are forgiven. There's something to be said. We are in a country. Our country is, I think it's, and if it's not anymore, it's kind of sad, but we're a country of redemption. I mean, we are a country of redemption. We are a country of second chances. I mean, there's a lot of people out there. I'm not saying everybody deserves a second chance, but there's a lot of people out there who are getting second chances that don't deserve it. There are a lot of people out there who have owned up to their things. Ray and Janae, to me, is a perfect example of that unconditional love and saying, look, we're a family. We're not going to let this split us up. We have a beautiful daughter, And here's the thing. Everybody was like, oh, you're only staying with him because he's in the NFL. You're only staying with him because he's a multimillionaire. Well, people don't realize everything that Ray lost. People don't realize that what that man has been put through. I mean, come on. It's like, and not to compare Ray to Jesus, but I mean, you see the Passion of Christ, and after a while, you're like, oh my God, enough is enough. Like, how much more? No, I'm just saying. Hold on, I'm just saying. I'm not comparing him to Jesus, but I'm saying, like, how much more?
Don't even use it in the same sentence, bro. It's like that's not no.
But I'm just saying. All I'm saying is how much can a person be persecuted? Like, enough is enough. Like,
But I think this all kind of comes back down to the relationship is between the two people.
right. That's what I'm saying.
Not all these
Not
people
all everybody else.
involved.
That's all I'm saying.
And it's up to the two people in the relationship to decide what works for them.
Right.
Now, again, I don't want to speak about Janae because I don't know her. It's not fair. But let's just do something else. Let's just say, some dude, you kicked my dog. All
Okay.
right, let's say that's what the deal was.
Was he trying to bite me?
It doesn't matter.
Oh.
You kicked my
There's
dog.
that,
Oh, okay,
there's,
sorry.
there's that literal shit again.
But I think the point is, me as a person, I have to decide, one, not only can I forgive you, because there's a likelihood you might do it again.
And
Right.
also,
And
can I let you
willing to
around
put
my
up
dog
with that.
again?
Exactly.
Right,
Like, which do I love more, you or my dog? But I think it's just a matter of what am I personally willing to put up with?
Right.
Because if I do forgive you, one, you could do it again, and that's. if
You
I
have
keep
to know.
forgiving
You have to know. You have to think ahead.
Yeah, if
Yes.
you keep doing it, that's my way of saying subliminally, I'm okay
It's
with you doing
exactly.
that.
No, you're absolutely
And
correct.
it's like
Absolutely.
any facet of a relationship, you got to decide what are you okay with and what are you not.
Absolutely. Well, I think everybody in general has a problem with seeing themselves from a third person point of view and not understanding where somebody else is coming from. So in order to, I like to pride myself on that in taking situations as I see it for what it is. And because at least when I was younger, I didn't see it for what it was. So, going through trial after trial,
Yeah,
you
but
take
that
a
comes
step.
with maturity and age. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that does. But I think even at maturity and age, people that are older, not everybody, but not everybody gets there. You know what I mean?
Well,
so
sometimes you just can't fix stupid.
true.
I mean, for real. Like, there are people out there who, no matter what you say, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try to convince them, they're just not going to get over themselves. They're not going to get over their own ego, their own pride, their own insecurities. It's so hard. It is. Leaving that other stuff behind. It's so hard to go, you know what? I'm the one that's making the mistake.
Right.
I'm blaming you for everything, but really,
You gotta own your shit.
you got to own your shit. And that's a hard thing to do. It's
You know,
hard.
it's an interesting thing that my girlfriend says sometimes when we're in Walmart, and occasionally it happens all the time. You're in there, and all of a sudden you see like some volcano guy with his chick and their baby and stuff, and she's got a big fucking shiner on her eye. It happens every once in a while, and I used to see that, and I get all pissed off, and I'd be like, I'm gonna go fucking say something to that guy, and be like, get mad. And Charlene would always be, she's from Albuquerque, I'm from Los Alamos, where you never see shit like that ever, and like, so she's from here, so she's seen it in her life, and she's like, oh no, leave him alone, she deserves it. And I'm like, say what? No, she does not deserve it. And she's like, oh well, they're in Walmart. She's pregnant, she's got another kid, like, there's no way that's the first time that's happened. There's no way that's the first time she's knocked the shit out of her. And now and it's, like, still doing this. So, like, that's just her life now. She deserves it. I thought that was such a callous, cold, like, all the way to the other side opinion. She's a woman, too,
Wow.
And she's like, oh, no, there's no way that's the first time that's happened. She puts up with it, and that's what she's decided to... is okay for her and her kids, and like.
So no.
Whoa. Okay, so
No.
let's get off it.
On the flip side, though, my husband does jujitsu, and he's been doing martial arts.
She does taekwondo. She's a black belt in taekwondo.
Well,
I think that has a lot to do with her opinion.
No, what I was gonna
Yeah,
say
that's
is my
Like, no one's
husband-
gonna give me a shiner.
My husband
it's her
walks around
fault.
with
Like-
shiners, and being from Albuquerque, people look at me like I'm the one that did that to him, and I'm like, no.
And the funny thing is, if you ever
That's
met her
cool.
husband,
That's cool. I'd hang out.
like, if you ever met her husband, he's like the most calm. He's
He
just
is.
a sweet guy. Like, you would never in a.
So it kind of looks like maybe she might hit.
Yeah.
Well, listen, if you see them two together,
It's like, so,
Diane's very. No,
like he's kind of a
I'm not,
calm,
Trevor.
you know.
If you watch this, I'm not saying you're not a man. I'm just saying you're an angel. You're an angel, Trevor.
No,
I mean,
see, his kind of angry is like that scared angry. Or like, if I get mad, you're gonna know in the second I'm mad at you right now, and here's why, and here's what's going on,
Right.
kind of a thing.
his is kind of that festering, like.
Oh my God, he's like so chill. He's like the chillest.
See, you're right. That is scary.
And then when he gets mad, it's like everybody run. Everybody just run, duck and cover, get out of his way, kind of a thing. So yeah, no.
So like when you see him get to that point, you even know, like, okay, I'm gonna.
I honestly, I've never seen him get that mad at me.
No, not
No.
at you. No.
You don't
No.
poke at him, do you? You don't like.
God, no.
Like in that, you seen the Avengers where they have the Mark Ruffalo who plays the Hulk in that carrier, and Robert Downey Jr. hits him
Yeah.
with the cattle prod just to get him
hilarious.
going.
Yeah.
And Thor's like, "What's wrong with you? Are you crazy? Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Really? You got it under control that
It's
well?"
like, I just wanted to see if he could.
I just want to see if you
Yeah,
like
that's
explode. Let me see you turn green. The thing is, and I think that a lot of times in relationships,
They do it deliberately.
happens.
Yep. Absolutely.
you test the water, you keep testing the water.
Yeah,
It's like,
no.
don't push me to a point where I'm going
Right.
to say something that I don't really want to say. Because here's the thing: I
Right.
think we've all had those times where you get into arguments and you get into disagreements and you say things that you shouldn't say, and you feel like there's so many different things that go on that you don't want to.
We have a special delivery here.
we have a special delivery.
Good, you can bring us our donuts here.
Uh-oh.
Oh my God!
We got some Rebel donuts, guys.
That's so much.
Nice.
Are these for us?
Yeah.
You are an angel.
Let us introduce this beautiful young lady here.
You want to come back around?
Yeah, come around this way.
This is my daughter focus podcast, everybody. This is a V. Say hi, V.
Right here, look.
Right here. Cool. Thank you very much. You have donut on your face?
Yes.
Guess
Can
I'll
I
start.
get a donut?
Guess I'll start my diet on Monday. Holy, wow! Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Goodness.
One donut.
Nice.
That's the one I wanted, sweetheart.
Oh, cheers.
I know she's like,
That's
Hey,
a
guys,
strong
if you
woman
have-
right there. She just gets what she
Right,
wants.
right.
Donuts
No
before
black
I
eyes
take
for
out
me.
my donuts.
Hold on. Say that, Danger. Go ahead.
These people are awesome. Rebel Donuts. They have gourmet. They even have gluten-free. Look at that. What? These are for Valentine's Day. We got them special.
They're located where?
Go over here a little bit more.
They're up on.
Wyoming and Manal, aren't they?
Okay, well, so let's get back to our topics of conversation.
You know, one thing I wanted to bring up real quick is, we get so mad about little stupid things.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, when you get to the point when you can talk to somebody and say, hey, it really bothered me that you did this, more often than not, that person had no idea
Very true.
that
Very
they
true.
were doing something to upset you.
Right.
They didn't
Yeah.
know,
Exactly.
you
Don't.
know?
Yeah, if you don't
That's
tell
a good
them.
point.
And it's
Thank
like,
you for bringing that
How
up.
can you expect it to stop if you never say anything?
Yeah. Don't just assume that I know why you're mad.
Yeah, and if I were to say it to somebody mad, like to your socks, if I were to like yell at you about your socks, you're gonna get mad at me for yelling at you.
Right.
When you had no idea, it made me upset to begin with. So like this
Right.
icky little like spiral that just happens.
Right.
So you just gotta calmly just say, hey, you
Right.
know what?
Yeah. Don't.
bothers me.
No. Listen. In all seriousness, don't ever assume
No.
you know why your partner. Don't ever assume that your partner knows why you're upset. Don't play this. Do you know why I'm mad at you?
Right.
Think about it. Do you really know why I'm? And I'm
I
like,
hear
what
the
the
Jeopardy music cueing in.
Like what? What? No,
Uh,
I don't. And here's
I'm
the thing.
always
What's
like-
worse is when you say, "No, I don't know." Oh, so you don't know me at all, do you? You don't know me. You don't love me. I've been pissed for 3 weeks. Wait, didn't we just we've been to dinner? We've been hanging out, laughing, smiling. Oh, so my smile that's all you see? You don't see the pain?
That's mind games. That's mind
Thank
games.
you. That kind of stuff happens constantly.
What's more is it's easy to drift into mind games because people are people, and they have little petty mechanisms that you're always trying to escape and learn how to be a bigger person. There's I don't know anybody who's figured it out and is all the time the bigger person now.
No.
Right. And and you're right. That comes with working on yourself and being patient and
Maturity.
Because I could think from personal experience, maybe I feel terrible, maybe I'm in a terrible mood, something's going wrong or something like that, and I do that the cliche passive aggressive woman thing,
Oh.
where that's what I'm doing this. 'Cause,
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the air quotes. Just,
because I'll be pouting, and show her oh, what's wrong, I'll be like, oh, nothing, and how many times that cliche scenario happened where
Yes.
the person who asked the question feels rejected and isolated and bad. They're trying to reach out to you and you shut them down and they feel bad and they turn around and they walk off.
And then you're mad at him for walking
Okay,
off.
well,
and
let's-
you're like, well, where'd you, but then you shut them down yourself. So it's the best thing to do there is I think is just hit them with the love button.
No, here's the
it's
best
hey,
thing
what's
to do.
wrong? And they're like, nothing. Then go put your arms around them and be like, are you sure?
Nothing's
wrong?
No, let me ask you.
Make them laugh and like, stop it. No, I'm being pounded right now.
Let me ask you. So everybody has their off button because I can tell you immediately when I'm angry or when I'm pissed, how to get me out of that. But okay, so when you're mad and pissed at your significant other, what's your off button? Like what can she do immediately that makes you
That's what I'm saying. It made me laugh.
make you laugh?
Yeah, one of my best friends from high school discovered this about me because I would be passive aggressive and pout when things weren't going my way. Me and my girlfriend would be planning a trip to Santa Fe for the day. We'd be ditching class and going to Santa Fe, and so my best friend would come along too. And he would just totally steal the show. She thought he was hilarious. Plus, he's gay, so he was flamboyant. She'd be laughing the whole time, and I just kind of shut down and be like, oh, fuck, the whole day's over now. And I'd sit here and play backseat, second fiddle to this motherfucker. And, well, my girlfriend literally would say things like, oh my God, you are so funny, Chris. You're so funny. And I'd be in the backseat like, I'm funny. She never said that. But Chris noticed.
Is that where your comedy days started?
No, it was way before.
Oh, okay, all right.
And because it was right, I wasn't funny yet.
Oh,
And
so it was an opening night experience.
yeah, and so he started teasing me is what he would do. He'd get the rear view mirror and and he used to call me Nana after the Saint Bernard from Peter Pan. He's like, oh, poor Nana. Poor Nana, I don't think it's going to Neverland. Oh, what's the matter? And he would just relentlessly tease me until I cracked a smile and started laughing,
Right.
which would instantly pull me out of my mood.
Makes sense.
And so I've shared that. There's been a couple of girlfriends I've had that, we didn't connect as easily with relieving each other's stress. You know, sometimes you're like, oh, sometimes I don't know what to
Yeah.
do, and I'd be like, oh well, just tease me. You know,
Right.
like
Makes sense.
screw with me about it, and it'll probably make me laugh. And it's always worked. You know,
That totally reminds me. There's this awesome book out there. It's a super easy read. It's called The 5 Languages of Love. Have you guys heard of it?
Yes.
It is. It's fantastic. You read this book, and basically the premise of it is that people feel loved in one of 5 different ways. It's either through touch and affection, through gift giving, through praise, through acts of service, or I can't remember what the 5th one was. But basically, you just kind of read it, and it was so enlightening
Yeah.
because I'm the kind of person where I feel loved if somebody does something for me.
Right.
Like if you go do a chore or something,
Yeah.
I love you to
Right.
pieces.
like,
Right.
hey, baby, don't worry about
Yeah.
emptying that ashtray in the dining room. I went ahead and took care of it for you. You're like,
Whereas, like if you
Love you.
give me a present, it's like, all right, cool. It doesn't
Right,
really mean
it-
as much to me.
Makes sense.
Whereas my husband is just the opposite, where you give him presents and he feels loved. Like if I go do his chore, he's like, well, yeah, I was gonna get done anyway. Like,
Right.
it doesn't
Right.
faze him.
Right. That makes
But
sense.
it's amazing because it gives you insight into somebody else's psyche and what they feel.
So tell me what when you're angry at Trevor, and what does Trevor do to enlighten you or to
The
make
thing
you?
he could do, like if I'm pissed off,
So when you're mad, are you quiet or are you angry or
I'll get
or
quiet.
Okay.
I'll get quiet, but then I'll say things like, I wish you wouldn't do that or whatever. But
With the edge.
Yeah, it's in my face.
Right, right,
Come on,
right.
I don't have a poker face for crap. But all he needs
Says
to
the
do,
actress, but-
says, yeah, right. All he needs to do is just hug me. If he gives me a legitimate, honest, heartfelt hug, I'm
Right.
good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
But that again, that goes back to understanding and not pushing the envelope with your, like, because it happens a lot. You get people, they see that you're angry, they see that you're upset, and instead of comforting you or
Right.
trying to find out what the problem is, or at least trying to fix it, because sometimes it happens. I mean, I've been in those situations where I'm upset and I don't even know why, and even though the person I'm with is trying to console me or trying to make me laugh or trying to make me feel better, it doesn't work. And I think for everybody it's different, but
What is it for you?
just I think more than anything is just giving me just a little bit of time,
Space.
just a little bit of space. Just give me a little bit of time. I don't like drama.
Right.
I don't like. I mean, I'm kind of like that old man I met at Starbucks. Like I just want to see you smile. Like that's all. It doesn't matter for me. And I've had some of my just like Danger said, some of my dude girls, oh fuck that shit, go out and get it in, fuck her, blah blah blah. And it's not like that for me, man.
Right.
Like I can't. That's not even in my nature. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like I want to make sure that you're okay. And if we have a disagreement, for me, pride has never really been an issue. Sometimes sometimes that backfires on me because there have been times when, you get taken advantage of. If
Right.
you're in that situation, sometimes, but for the most part, I mean, just, that whole, like, I love you enough to give you a little space, but just know that I'm here for you. If you need to talk, I'm here for you. And I think more relationships need that. Again, it just goes back to patience and understanding and forgiveness on both sides. Going, hey, you know what? You're right. We're not gonna come to a happy medium on this discussion, no matter what. We're just gonna agree to disagree and keep it moving.
Right.
I'm not gonna talk to you for a week because you didn't make my coffee the right way, and that means you don't know anything about me. You don't know my favorite color, or your color changes every week. I don't know what the hell's going on with you half the time. But those types of small disagreements have always fester and fester
Right.
and fester.
Well, I think what's so important in a relationship, speaking of festering problems, is hypothetically you're with your partner and you get in an argument, but you have dinner that night. You're going out to dinner with another couple. Well, stop the argument on hold. When you're with that couple, you're as happy as can be. When you get back to your house, you can argue, but you have to have respect for the situations that are going on around
Right.
you. You know what I mean? You can't. Your situation isn't the world. And it's not. If I have an event to go to, don't leave me hanging. If whatever the situation may be, there's other situations going on in your world.
Right.
It's not just your relationship.
my same best friend from high school, he's a hairdresser in Hollywood now. And when I go visit him, I would tell jokes around Hollywood and stuff, and would drive around.
Who's your best friend?
His name is Chris.
Oh, okay.
Just a guy, Chris. Hairdresser.
Can you for once let this dude finish his
No, I'm asking. No, I'm asking because I have a good friend that moved out to Hollywood as a hairdresser as well. That's why I was
That would
asking.
be crazy if it was the same one.
That's why.
Yeah, 30 million people in Hollywood. And
Yeah. So
Well, if he's from here, It could be. I'm just saying.
yeah,
Go
no,
ahead.
definitely not.
I'm sorry. Tell me the story about your hairdresser.
Disrespect.
But they
Racist.
will they fight. They fight the whole time, like from place to place to place. Fight in the car on the way there. Fight in the bar, in front of everybody, like throwing drinks and like melt down. To the car next comedy club. Are you sure you guys want to do this one? And they're like, oh, of course. No, I'm fine. Aren't you going? Aren't you happy, honey? You know, like, no, I'm so happy we're going to the goddamn comedy club. And I'm just like, okay, well, you know, they're next, just like, get there. What do you want to drink, honey? You know, like, just keep drinking, keep fighting the whole
Right.
time until we finally get home, and then they just have this passionate, noisy sex session.
Okay.
And I think they do this like every single night. In
TMI,
LA,
bro.
Like just like every single night, like fight all over LA, and then
Well, maybe it's because of the makeup sex.
I think so.
That-
Well, and you
I
know
have
what?
never had
because
like,
you can become
makeup
addicted
sex.
to that. Absolutely.
I don't
Just
think
getting
I've
an
ever
argument
done it my
just for the
entire
makeup
life.
sex.
Well, they apparently have it down to a science.
Right, right.
Gosh, yeah, like, yeah, yeah. It's like seeing the catcher's like I couldn't get it up unless I'm pissed. You know, like, well, that's a new one.
That's a really?
Yeah.
Can't get it up.
Yeah. It's like, so what works on you, Danger? Oh, well, just teasing me. Oh, what about you? It's like, oh, just give me a hug. It's like, what works on you, Chris? It's like, hit me in the face. Hit me in the face and threaten to sell my dog.
That'll do it. Then you'll really
That'll
get
get
it.
me going. Ooh, you're in for it now. You know?
Oh, you're gonna get a hammering tonight.
Yeah, things
Oh, Lord.
always get so much better whenever after I have a nice trip in LA. And I'm like, things are so nice and calm.
Yeah, you come back, you're like, wow.
The relationship is so good.
Yeah, this is so
and it's
normal.
Cock, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, and listen, I think that, you know, I think that with, especially with a holiday like today, you know, Valentine's Day, you've got kind of both sides of the coin here where, you know, you got some people who are, you know, and it's always funny, like when you see people who are like grossly in love when you're not like in
yeah.
a situation, like, hey, motherfuckers, like, hey, what are you so happy about? Like, God damn it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it really pisses me off. I was at Costco the other day, and I see this young couple, and they're in line, and he's like, oh, you know, I just right in mid putting the groceries on the thing, and I'm waiting, and he just stops, and he's like, you don't know, in front of everybody, he's like, you don't know how much I love you. She was like finding her Costco card to give to the cashier, and everybody, it was like a moment in time to stop. She's all, I can't believe you just said that. And she like started, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Stop that gooey shit right here. Like I was, and I found myself, like I wanted to punch them both in the face. I was like, and you know, and really, because deep down I'm like, I want that too, you know, but I won't admit it. And they're so like in this moment, he's like, yeah, you are so pretty. And they kept on. And I'm standing behind him like, oh my God.
Eric.
Right.
Yeah, like, yeah.
You know, but you see that, but the thing is, like, that actually is, I mean, I'm going to admit it, that's a beautiful thing, man.
Oh,
When you see people, you know, just like this little old man, you know, and he told me, like, the most important thing to me is her smile. That's like movie stuff, you know, that really, you think that never happens, but there is something to be said about chivalry and, you know, and here's the thing. I think if you work daily on those types of things and you're with someone, again, it goes back to just sticking it out, right? If you're in a relationship and you know you love someone, everybody has their own amount of, you know, who knows?
Or
Listen,
you have respect for yourself, sister. You get out of there.
That's right.
yeah. Listen, she does, don't you do jujitsu and stuff too? Like,
No, I do kickboxing and
kick,
other stuff.
okay, so one does jujitsu, one does kickboxing. So you can imagine like some of the shit that might go down in that house if there's a problem.
No. You know, it's funny. When I met Trevor, he was doing Kempo, and he tried to train me at first. And the second he put his hands on me in an aggressive manner, it was like, done. Get off me.
I don't like
Done.
this.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
serious.
Safe
right.
word, safe
That
word.
makes-
I don't like it.
I can't do
No, that
stuff
makes
with him.
sense. That makes sense.
No.
And that's kind of odd to me because you look like the type of chick that would stab a dude in a second if you
No.
Well, in self-defense.
Yes.
Yeah, but not in.
Exactly.
Oh, there's
I
that
mean,
literal shit again. Thanks, Josh.
No, I'm totally cool if people touch me out of like love and hugs and all. That's totally cool.
And what's funny is Diane and I did a thing about domestic violence.
Oh, that was fun.
and we
That was
totally,
fun.
yeah, I'm like, we're like totally screaming at each other, and oh yeah, that was pretty intense. That's what I'm saying. Like you don't look like the type of chick.
If
So
somebody truly came at me aggressively, yes, I would. I would not hesitate. But I don't want to put myself in that space. I
Right.
don't
Right.
like to,
Yeah, and again, that when you think about it with relationships, I mean, why go through all that? Just say you're sorry. Just have a little forgiveness in your heart.
put your ego aside.
Put your ego aside. I mean, aside all the jokes. I mean, we could sit here and talk about story after story after story, but really, honestly, like, put your ego aside. Have some forgiveness in your heart, man. Like, and stop worrying about what the entire world has to say. Because at the end of the day, these people that you think, I'm just gonna say this, these people that you think really care and really have your best interests in heart, they really don't. Like Danger said earlier, they don't know. They're giving you advice based on how they feel, not based on what you should be feeling, right? Like, it's always kind of this, it's always like that loaded gun situation where you just don't know what you're going to get from people. You think you're doing the right thing by unloading your problems and wanting sound advice, but a lot of times you get these people who, they may not even like the person that you were with. So of course they're going to talk bad about them, and of course it's going to put seeds in your mind, and it's going to fill your heart with all these different emotions, and it's going to make your situation more clouded, right? Just forgive, man. Like,
In all seriousness,
be patient with each other.
In all seriousness, I think that no matter what the situation is, we have the answers in ourselves.
right.
I mean, we may just talk to people to vent out, or just get stuff out, or just share stories and laugh and whatever. But deep down, you know in your heart what you need to do. You know what you need to fix in yourself.
I had a friend of mine recently, and I think we've all seen this happen. I had a friend of mine recently who, he's his relationship with his girl is pretty, it's pretty wild. I mean, they fight like cats and dogs, but they love each other. And he came to me recently, and he was like, "Man, I don't know what to do. Like, I love her so much, but we fight, we argue." And it was one of those things where I just simply asked him. I was like, for you, what's it about? Is it about being right? Is it about? He was like, "Well, I always try to make my point." I was like, "There it is. Stop trying to make your point." I said, if you love her, man, like, just put the gauntlets down. You don't have to battle. It's okay. Again, it goes back to that whole everybody thinks, "Oh, I'm weak."
If you want to get your point across, then go back to school and debate other students in a public forum.
Right.
This is a relationship.
Yeah.
Clubs
Yeah, exactly. I mean, for crying out loud, just put the fucking gauntlets down and stop attacking each other. You know what I think people do a lot of? Instead of putting deposits into their relationship, putting love into their relationship, patience and caring and understanding, they store shit against that person.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard this, so I'm gonna put this here.
It's a lot of
I
truth.
heard this. So when you guys fight, they pull from that. Instead of, so basically they're withdrawing from your heart, and they're storing all this shit up that everybody else has to say about you, or how they feel about you, or what they assume is going on. And then when you fight, all that shit just comes through the funnel.
One of the best pieces of advice I got about like fighting, because then you got to learn how to like fight fairly and properly, or argue, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Right.
Is I was told, because then you do sometimes need your space, but you have to put kind of like a moratorium on it, that you give it 2 weeks. If you don't bring it up within those 2 weeks, you just need to let it go. Like, it's
Right.
gone. It's too old to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if someone brings some old shit on you, fellas out there, have the courage to smack that shit down. Be like, you're not going to bring that old crap up.
But it goes both ways, though. Let's
No,
not
I
say
agree.
It's just a female issue. I mean, because
No, it
men
does
do
go
too.
both ways,
It
but
does.
I think people feel. I mean, have you ever been in those situations where you find yourself apologizing for shit that they're mad at you for like from like a year ago? You're like, well, come on, enough.
you gotta let it go.
Listen,
You
I've
gotta
said
let it
I'm
go.
sorry. If I made a mistake last year, all right, let it go. It's done. Like, why are we still fighting about those kind of issues? Like, there's no reason to be arguing about that anymore. Like, it's the funniest thing, because you could spend every living moment of the day with somebody, and they're still accusing you of doing shit wrong, or you're.
It's awful. I've been in a situation where, like, my husband would be mad about something. And this was a while back. We've sort of worked through all
Right,
this stuff.
right.
He'd be mad about something, and I'm doing this, like, mental Rolodex of, okay, what did I do in the last 6 months that could have pissed him off? What did I do 3 months ago? Was it 4 months ago? What the hell did I... And that's a shitty place
That
to be,
is-
where
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
like, oh my God, I'm recounting the last 6 months of my life, and what could have potentially pissed him off?
Right.
Just, if it's in the moment,
My
say it.
Rolodex only goes 24 hours. Like, I'm like, what?
Yeah, like, no, it's not worth it.
That
Just
doesn't
let
shock
it go.
me. Yeah. Josh over here, the love guru. Fuck up in 24 hours and it's a wrap for you.
Should have picked your socks up.
Yeah, yeah, you should pick your socks up. Goofy heifer. Yeah, see, that's a perfect example of someone you don't take advice from. Josh, no, I will say this.
Okay, all right. Well,
With that being said, no, yeah, you don't be
So
taking-
everyone out there, if you feel comfortable taking advice from Eric Martinez, then definitely follow his advice and don't take advice from Josh.
Yeah,
okay.
because if you leave your socks or panties laying anywhere, it's a wrap for you. You're done. No, actually, I will say this. You know, Josh and I, we talk a lot, and you know, Josh has given me a lot of good counsel on many different things, man. You know, but again, it goes back to how when you get advice from someone, you know who you're getting advice from. You know, don't just
Without a
don't be getting advice from people who you know aren't. How do I say it? They're not.
Sick evil fucks. Or
Well, you know, I mean,
Do your research on it. I mean, if you were going to go see a counselor, you would do your research.
well, it's
You know?
it's like this. You know, don't be talking to a chick who has no man and expect her to give you sound advice on how to keep your man. And the same for dudes. Don't talk to a dude that's in the clubs every single night, like looking for every piece of ass he can get a hold of, and who would probably do your girlfriend. And to be honest with you, is probably talking to your girlfriend behind your back, going, "Oh yeah, he is a douche." And if I was your man, because that, I mean, yo,
Dude, who are your friends?
I've heard a lot of like projecting and stuff coming out in this episode. Like I hope you guys were ready.
never
for this.
mind. I'm checking out. Give me a goddamn donut. Give me 3 of those.
She should have been having a donut the whole time. And I just feel like full of shit a bit because I knew this guy she's talking to. You know, give me another donut.
I mean,
What is that,
you know,
right?
I'm just saying. I mean, you know, there's so many. Listen, there's just so many different examples out there of things that have gone array when they didn't have to. You know, just if you just understand each other, and at least try to communicate. You know, never put your relationship in the hands of another person and hope that you know it's going to work out. Talk to the person that you're having the problem with, right? You know, I said that on Instagram several times. Like, you know, here's a little advice. You know, if you have a problem with someone, talk to that person respectfully. Don't call them dirty names. Don't just diarrhea of the mouth, because those kind of talks, they're not healthy. You know, you don't get anywhere by doing that. It's like they say, if 2 people are yelling, who's listening? You know, nobody's listening, right? That's just how I feel. You know.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with admitting you're wrong. You know, feel like, oh, you know what? Yeah, you know, I didn't trust you when we were talking earlier, and I feel bad. You know,
Right, and here's
ultimately I do, and I'm sorry.
And here's the thing, like if you're holding up the gauntlet to someone who you think hurt you, and okay, maybe they did, and they don't know about it. But the minute they say, listen, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, forgive me. Like, man, put the gauntlet, seriously.
And at the same time, though, if you're the person getting the feedback of you did something that upset somebody, don't get defensive.
Don't get defensive,
Just
exactly.
Like, all right, I
Don't
didn't
get
mean
defensive.
To. Yeah.
I didn't mean to. Again, it goes back, it's okay to say, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean to do that to you. I didn't understand. Look at this shitty ingredient Josh has on his face. Because you know he doesn't do that at all.
I'm trying to figure out what relationship experience he's drawing from. Tell us about your love life, Josh.
I have a good love life.
Have you ever been engaged before?
As a matter of fact, I have not.
You have not.
I've been in loving relationships.
What is the longest loving relationship you've had?
5 years.
Well, that's impressive.
Wow.
Was there ever any talk of marriage, or?
You know, probably not, only because I was traveling so much. I didn't.
Did he or she travel with you?
No. I traveled with my job, and in general, I
Don't want to make
I
any
don't think
assumptions. I don't know.
right. You got to be specific. So, in general,
I think he or she was pretty specific.
Yes, I did too.
apparently I didn't.
He or she traveled with you. He or she.
Oh, okay. I didn't catch that. No.
So, but you said they did not travel with you.
No. No.
Cool. So they could leave like their laundry on the floor when you were gone.
They could, see?
as long as it was gone. by the time you-
As long as by the time I
If
got
I was
home.
if I was the girl in that, I'd be like, I'm gonna fuck this dude's house. I'm gonna throw my shit everywhere. I'm gonna jump on the bed. I'm gonna do all kinds of shit.
I'm in the mud on the couch.
Fuck your couch, nigga.
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. That's pretty interesting.
5 years. How many of the 5 years would you say you were gone?
Oh, no, I wasn't gone.
It wasn't like that.
No. But see, the thing with my occupation is when I travel, it's hard to have I guess what you would want to get into a marriage, talk relationship if you're not there all the time. She had her own thing going on. I had my own thing going on, but I don't know. That's a difficult question. I mean, that's a difficult answer, I guess, for
Hypothetically.
Well, do you want kids for yourself?
God willing, if that's in my future, I would love children. Yeah.
Cool. I could look up how to make them in a test tube. If
Oh.
you're not gonna find a woman to. Let's see if I can find something here.
The thing I think too. The thing is with shit. I just lost my train of thought just thinking about
Test
Josh,
tubes.
yeah, test tubes, and Josh having kids.
That's very kind and considerate of you.
Could you see him with like two little babies, like one in either
No,
hand?
here's the
like,
thing. I think Josh would be a good dad. I really do. I think he'd be
Thank
a
you.
great dad.
Thank you.
Hypothetically speaking,
Hypothetically speaking, right?
I think he'd be a great dad.
Right,
No,
right.
it's kind of funny because I learn every time I'm around Josh. I learn something different, something more intriguing to me.
If you ask questions, he just starts talking.
Right. It's like opening
He'll let
Pandora's
you know.
box.
Oh
Yeah.
shit! Watch out.
Oh, you're not see now, aren't you?
What they say about Josh is if you ask him questions, he will answer them.
Fantastic.
Every time.
Fantastic.
That's what I know.
Well, guys, listen. That's as fun, as much fun as this has been. That's
wow.
yeah. That's our time. We we want to say thank you to everybody who joined us today on this episode of the Focus Podcast on Valentine's Day. I know we hit some hard hitting. There was some pretty hard hitting.
We talked about domestic violence a lot more than I thought we would. By the way, I made a joke about how I've been jumped by chicks and still love them the next day. I'm making light of a very serious situation, and you should always seek help if there's violence in your relationship.
Right,
Don't
right.
put up with it, whether you're a man or a woman.
Right. And listen. Here's the thing. We didn't talk about it a lot in terms of it being okay and listen. Every situation is different. There's never any reason for that to be going on either side of the spectrum. No, you should never have to put your hands on each other. With that being said, in all seriousness, one of the things that I want to say, and I do this every day. I put out motivational quotes. Believe in yourself. Love yourself enough to, not accept mediocrity, not only in your life but in your relationships. Make sure that but make sure that if you're with someone that you love and you say you love that person, before quitting on that person or giving up on that person, make sure that you look inside yourself and ask yourself, is there something that I could be doing that's a little bit different? Could I exercise a little bit more patience? Could I exercise a little bit more forgiveness? Don't listen to what everybody else has to say. Please, make that decision on your own. It's okay to talk to your friends. It's okay to vent. That's not, there's never anything wrong with that. But just make sure that the person that you're with, that's the person you're communicating with, because that's what's most important. Never should you put yourself in a situation where it's unhealthy, but that doesn't mean that every situation is the same, and you always have to look at that from all angles. Don't ever assume that your partner knows what's wrong. Don't ever assume that your partner's doing something wrong. Love each other, have more patience, forgive, and above all, support each other. Everybody has dreams. Everybody's out there fighting a battle that you know nothing about. There's certain times when in life that we feel like we're completely all alone. And I can tell you, and all of us here today can tell you, that there's nothing wrong with supporting your spouse. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself behind that person and loving them and supporting them through the things that they want to achieve. And sometimes there's always that kind of teeter-totter effect, right, in every relationship where you can go back and forth with that support. But at the end of the day, just love, man. And be patient with each other, forgive. And I want to say again, thank you to all of our sponsors. Oliver's Shaving Cream. I talked about this a little bit earlier. This is a new shaving cream that was sent to me. Oliver's Shaving Cream. You can find him on Instagram. Great stuff. For men and women. Rockwell Watches, RSP Nutrition, Mac 10, Ray Dulce Clothing, Money is King. We want to say thank you so much to Diane for coming
Thank you,
on the show
Diane.
today
Thank you
and
for having me.
sharing your wonderful knowledge of relationships with us and your very candid point of view on not only how to argue, but how to, see things from a woman's perspective. And we really want to say thank you for being a part of this podcast, and we'd love to have you back sometime.
Thank you for having me.
You can find us on Twitter at The Focus Podcast, on Instagram at The Focus Podcast. We will be up on iTunes soon. Trust me, we'll be on iTunes. You can see this episode when, Danger?
You'll see it tomorrow. Valentine's
There
Day.
you go. Valentine's Day. You'll see this episode tomorrow on Valentine's. Or actually, you're going to be watching it today on Valentine's Day. Again, Rebel Donuts. Thank you for Danger's wonderful, beautiful daughter bringing us Rebel Donuts today. We're out.
More exclusive, every time I do it. Yeah, more of that. More swishes, more stupid, more music. More of that. More exclusive, more new shit. Every time I do it. And I don't know when to quit. The saying that I took it too far. Yo, you be making shit up. Ain't no such thing as going too hard. Nah, yeah, I'm for the cars. And I'm for the odds. I call this late Michael Jack. Couple shots to get me off the wall. When I changed over, it's game over. That's a huge difference. That's lanes over.